Good day, readers and listeners, and welcome to another episode of Tom's Rapid Reviews, where each week I take a few minutes to read out a book review written by one of my fabulous colleagues at Surrey Libraries. We talk a little bit about the context of the book and its author, and it's all done in the hope that you might be interested in trying to read or listen to something new this week. This week we've got a bit of a bumper episode. We're once again celebrating LGBT History Month, and so there'll be a couple of reviews from books from the service with those themes. LGBT History Month takes place every February in the UK. This year it's going to be centred around the theme, "The arc is long." Taken from a Martin Luther King Jr. quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." Celebrating the history and present of the LGBTQ+ community, let's turn to a few books my colleagues have read and reviewed which reflect the lives and concerns of that community. We're going to start with Pumpkinheads, a graphic novel written by Rainbow Rowell with art by Faith Erin Hicks, aimed at a young adult audience. Pumpkinheads was released in 2019, but I'll let my colleague Rachel's review tell you more. Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks is the perfect book to read in the autumn. The art is beautiful, the colour palette is great as it slowly changes throughout the book and reflects the change in daylight, and the characters are adorable. Deha and Josiah work at the pumpkin patch every year, but this is their last. They want to achieve everything they have before they finally leave. For Josiah, this is finally speaking to the girl he's been pining for 3 years, and for Deha, it's eating all the autumnal treats. We follow them around the patch as they try to complete their goals. It's really cute. We have a map, they get into trouble, they complete some missions but not all of them, and we get to meet some other characters briefly. It's funny, and I really just want to be able to go to a pumpkin patch like this. It's diverse as well, which is really nice to see, with Deha being bisexual/pansexual. I've seen some reviews suggesting that nothing happens, but I love to see the progression of the one night and how the characters develop along the way. A very strong showing then for Pumpkinheads, which can be borrowed physically from Surrey Libraries. Based on Rachel's word, I'd like to give it 4.5 out of 5. For the second review of this bumper episode, we're going to stick with a YA audience, but turn to a more traditional prose novel. That novel, Cinderella is Dead, by Kalynn Bayron. The novel features a dark twist on the themes and the narrative of the Cinderella fairy tale. Cinderella and Prince Charming once fell for one another at a fateful palace ball, and now all teenage girls must attend such balls to find a suitor, or never be heard from again. Let's let my colleague Sarah tell you more about this one. A YA fantasy book set 200 years after the original Cinderella fairy tale. This book looks at the original story and its consequences with a dark twist on what society turned into and why. With an LGBT protagonist, also a person of colour, who fights against the misogynistic and patriarchal system, this easy-to-read book comes highly recommended. Interpreting Sarah's words then, I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5. So then, a couple of quite different books this episode, but both were thoroughly enjoyed by my colleagues. In terms of recommending something similar, I'd first direct you to last week's Rapid Review episode, wherein we talked about some other YA books fitting our themes. But I'd also like to highlight the Libby app, a service which all Surrey Library members get access to. In doing my research for this episode, I came across a wealth of reading material which featured LGBT themes on the Libby app, which has both ebooks and audiobooks. There's fiction, non-fiction, and even magazines, and it's also a place where you can borrow Cinderella is Dead. I'd encourage anyone looking for recommendations to begin there. So, that's all for now, readers. I hope you enjoyed this episode and have a pleasant LGBT History Month. Join us again soon for another episode celebrating that month. But for now, stay safe, borrow books, and I'll see you next time for more of Tom's Rapid Reviews.